Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday edition of The Associated Guest. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today, we're going to get into some hoaxes that were proven false. It's a little bit of the opposite of what I normally say. What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? Usually about 6 months. I mean, you can kind of put this in there too, because the truth on these is they're false. But yeah, we're gonna get into a lot of the big ones, a few examples. I'm gonna throw out a few more on top of what's gonna be put out in the video, and then if we have time, we'll get into the Talarico story I couldn't get to yesterday, but no, hate crimes, other kinds of things, just basically people lying for clout, people lying to further their careers, people lying for all kinds of reasons. But one thing's for sure about all of them, they hurt the causes that they're using to prop themselves up. And I can't get behind that. People like, what was it? Was it Sonny Hostin that said that Juicy Smouye was low-key noble, or was it? It was like Sonny Hostin or Joy Reid. It was by somebody on one of those awful shows. It could have even been I don't remember. But sorry, I got a really bad headache this morning, so we're gonna push through this.
And it's hate crime and all of the hoaxes. I wanted to have one reference piece for you guys to be able to check consistently, because you'll get a new one. You'll have another one next month and one after that. And here's the big problem. I want you, as we go through this, I've run into this and changed my mind. There are people that change my mind who think that Kyle Rittenhouse went out and shot black guys. Like a lot of people, they still think that.
Yeah.
There are millions of people in this country.
And there are people that still use the Kyle Rittenhouse situation as an example of white people getting away with something. No. Anyone, and even at the time, and I've watched it once or twice since then, but at the time, I had gone through the entire bit of video, and every time a new video came out, I would watch it. And the assessment I got from watching these videos over and over and over again is, the kid went there. Should he have been there? Probably not. We may not all agree on that, but that's what I think. I don't think he should have been there. Is he a hero like the right says he is? No. No, he's not a hero. A damn good shot. Especially the dude he shot in the forearm after that dude threatened him twice with a pistol. And he's still alive to tell the tale and to be like, I wish I'd killed him. Yeah, he seems like a functional person. But no, Kyle Rittenhouse got that was justice. Because the people who were chasing him were crazed lunatics. Especially the first one, who kept screaming that he was going to kill him and kept calling him the N-word. This is a white dude. Because all the people that he shot was white. But if you'd seen the news around then, they kept saying that he shot 3 Black Lives Matter protesters. So a lot of the country got it into their heads that he shot 3 black people at random instead of shot 3 white people who were chasing him, trying to beat and or probably kill him, because the dude with the pistol, dude with the skateboard, and that crazy little midget, that bald-headed midget that was chasing him. He wasn't actually a midget. The guy was like 5'5", but he looked like a white version of Dokes from Dexter. But anyway, let's continue.
Who heard about some kind of a hate crime that's a hoax, and they are still walking around believing it.
And using it as an example. As an argument point.
And then the other thing that I want you to keep in mind is, now that we know the truth, because I know that if you're a decent person, when you first hear about these types of hate crimes, especially if they're violent, you go, oh my God, well, that's terrible. I mean,
of course.
I hope it's not true, but my heart goes out to them. Now I want you to watch these, because every single one has been proven false, verifiably, in almost every case, a court of law. And I want you to shift your mindset to, that's an evil person who's making this up. go from, oh my gosh, I feel bad, my sympathy for this person, to demon child, pretty much. So this January, a woman was sentenced to a year in jail for yet another hate crime hoax, and then we'll walk back in time.
Woman convicted of staging a hate crime hoax ahead of the 2023 Colorado Springs mayoral runoff election will spend time in federal prison. A judge sentenced Ashley Blackcloud to 1 year and a day behind bars for her role in the hoax.
That's a burning cross, by the way.
She and Derek Bernard guilty after a trial in May. Prosecutors argued the pair, along with a third woman, Deanna West, staged a video showing a cross burning in front of then-candidate Yemi Mobilade's campaign sign. The video was sent to local media and falsely accused Wayne Williams, Mobilade's opponent, of the crime.
They're blurring the cross?
Yeah, I know.
You just described it.
And by the way, the conspirators, they were caught staging the crime on surveillance footage.
Which is the funniest thing, that they were caught on surveillance footage setting up a hate crime for their own candidate. You can't make this shit up. What's that? Life is stranger than fiction kind of shit.
And they're not blurring the cross, by the way. It's the word written behind the cross.
Oh, okay. I didn't thank you for
And here's the thing, again, if your gut says that doesn't seem like it would be committed in the 21st century, you're usually right. But just think, the media ran with it for a long time. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Can you believe that a cartoonishly racist person committed a crime that could be easily solved within the first 4 minutes? And the answer you should provide is no!
And this is, again, a lot of these hoaxes are a result of, one, the political climate has been freaking abhorrent since probably about 2012-ish, plus or minus a couple of years. That and the news, and this is all sides of the news, left, right, whatever, trying to be first rather than accurate, because they can always run a oops, our bad later on, just in a small segment that no one's going to remember or watch or even know the reference. So
of course I don't believe it.
Can you believe the mayor from Oh Brother Where Out There was doing this?
Exactly.
Don't let that flag touch the ground. But that should tell you what you need to know. It's not an accident. And now I'll go through, what do I have, a dozen examples? How do they always get it wrong, but only one side? It always leans left. By the way, just so you have the empirical, we always provide the references, link in the description. Only 1 in 3 hate crimes that are reported are genuine, and that's actually a very high number, because that number would still include
really
things
is.
like, an Asian guy gets punched by a black guy in a subway, 2 gay guys get into a fight. As far as the actual hate crimes that you see that become headlines, I would wager like 90% of them, if not more, are completely false, yet the media still keeps falling for it. Sorry, they're not falling for it. They still keep looking for propaganda. Let's go through a few examples here. This was 2021. And we'll go backwards. By the way, we're live weekdays, 11.
And it's funny he says that, the Asian hate thing, because again, and I think I said this a few shows ago, a majority of the videos that came out during and just before the Stop Asian Hate campaign, most of those were black dudes beating up Asian people during COVID. But it all got put on white people hating Asian people. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've never, at least as far as mainstream people, and honestly, even in my personal life, other than making fun of accents, which you can make fun of accents, it's no big deal. I've never understood why people get all huffy for making fun of stereotypical Asian accents, considering we do it for French people, we do it for certain regions of America, the South, Bostonians. But other than that, I've never heard anyone say anything about Asian people other than most of them are pretty smart. I'm saying. But yeah. And the only thing I've ever heard the right say was including them, and when they talk about what's it, DAI policies in colleges, because Asians are actually harmed by these because they test so high on their college entrance exams. The highest in the country, I believe. And of course, people from India are included in that. But yeah, they're actually harmed by the skewing of. Oh God, sorry, my head's dropping. You know what I'm talking about.
1 a.m. Eastern, we provide all our references. The Plano pee drinking incident, you remember this? Here's the allegation.
I never heard about this one. Of course, I don't think I was down
Here's the
here for it.
allegation. Caught fire. Everyone was outraged. Rightfully so, if it was real. It's not. The mother of a black student at a Plano middle school said that a son bullied their child at a sleepover, forced them to drink urine. Now, again, I want you to watch these videos because at this moment in time, when you don't know whether it's true or not, you go, oh my God, well, that's horrible. That breaks my heart. Now I want you to watch it and see how evil it is for someone to fabricate a lie, because that destroys someone's life.
Plano ISD and police say they're investigating some disturbing accusations of...
I will say for this one would probably have been the easiest for me to believe, because I don't know if it's just where I'm from or the South or whatever, but don't fall asleep around white people. This is why I stopped going to sleepovers, because they'll like do all kinds of stuff. They'll put pizza on your forehead. They'll put pizza in your mouth. And I actually mean pizza in this because I was very young. I didn't do anything like that, but I heard so many horrible stories growing up when I was in the military. Don't fall asleep around white people, especially drunk white people. But so this one would have been the easiest one for me to believe, but I've never even heard this hoax.
bullying. The accusations involve a middle school boy who says he was forced to drink urine. Today, friends of the boy's family and other parents protested outside of Haggard Middle School. They're calling on the district to discipline those involved. It came after the boy's mom shared on social media that a recent sleepover, other students beat and attacked her son, hit him with BB guns, and was verbally attacking him with racial slurs.
There has to be more done.
That's true.
For
You
these
will never
these kids
understand.
to feel represented, these kids to feel protected, and for the parents to feel protected. And that's just not happening.
Now, I don't know if that person knew that it was a lie or not. Probably did. Certainly, the son in question did. Evil. Evil. They wanted to destroy the life of another student because the truth is it was entirely fabricated. And now, in 2026, that was 2021, the family of the accuser was just ordered to pay $3.2 million to the white student. Most people out there don't know about this. You have plenty of people in Texas, in Plano, Texas, who believe that poor black kid was forced to drink piss from an evil white supremacist.
Well, and the thing is, again, you never hear the retraction. You never hear the other side where it turns out the whole thing was false. The only reason we heard about it for Juicy Smouye, and even still a lot of people believe that story, was because it was so publicized. Like the Amber Heard and her little Amber Turd.
It's not true. Give you another example of one that you know is false, but if this person had not been famous, you wouldn't know the follow-up that it was false, and it would be another hate crime that people believe. Remember Bubba Wallace, the allegation that there was a noose found in Bubba Wallace's garage, and it didn't even make sense.
NASCAR drivers walk alongside Bubba Wallace's car, number 43, overcome with emotion.
A despicable act by someone.
Less than 24 hours earlier, a noose was discovered in Wallace's garage stall, prompting this response: I will not give in, nor will I back down. I will continue.
All right, just a second. I gotta make a phone call real quick. I'm just gonna put it on a quick intermission. I'll be back. Hey, are you there? Oh crap! Who's up there? Or Alizea or? Yeah. No, he got there early, and I just wanted to. I could have sworn one of y'all got there at like 6. I'll call Caitlin. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he'll be up at the normal maintenance area. In the normal maintenance area over there by door 19. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, let's continue.
Continue to proudly stand for what I believe in. NASCAR confirming to NBC News that no fans have access to that garage. Only a few essential personnel. The organization vowing to investigate and declaring, "We are angry and outraged and cannot state strongly enough how seriously we take this heinous act."
Now, in that case, some of those people releasing those statements, maybe they didn't know any better, but they didn't want to know any better.
Yeah.
This is in a climate of cancel culture at its peak. And that climate is created by the drip, 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 drip of the lies. That's why we include all these other stories from people who do know better. They know better, and they hope that you never do. The truth, you all know, was a garage pole strap, not a noose. It had been there since the previous year. It's almost like this could have been fact-checked immediately.
And this is the funniest thing. Now that is that is the most interesting looking rope knot I've seen to do this, and it is a little noosey looking, but yes, that had been there for a long time. You see all kinds of little slip knots and eyelet knots and all kinds of other knots that you'll recognize if you have ever worked any kind of warehouse or garage job. when you open and close the doors, you need a rope there, and it's a lot easier if you have an eyelet at the end. Albeit, it is a bit. That is questionable, but it had been there for a very long time before this driver had ever been there. It wasn't intended for him specifically. It had been there for a long time.
It had never been a story.
Whoops.
Let's go to the next one. 2019.
And he still talks about this. Like, oh. He talks about this like there was a... So when I was a kid, right after all of the... the Colorado shootings, we had our own little dork group that was the Trenchcoat Mafia or whatever. Well, they had a list of names of it was just people they didn't like. It didn't say people they were going to kill or anything like that. Somebody snatched this list and went to a teacher and said that it was a death list. And they tried to ruin these kids' lives. And I, about 10, 15 years later, got approached by the person who grabbed the list, the cheerleader, by this person's little brother. And I called her on it. I was like, hey, what's going on? Why is your brother approaching me? Oh, my God, that was the scariest thing that had ever happened in my whole life, and you just don't understand. I do. And honestly, I'm sorry that all that happened and you felt that way, but they were never going to hurt you. They never would have. They haven't hurt anyone since then. And maybe if you weren't such an asshole to everybody that you ever talked to because you think you're hot shit, when she's not. She looked like she got hit in the face with a paint can. And her brother was just ridiculous. Well, we were at someone who... I've always been like a punk goth my own self, at least in mentality, not so much in dress, because I was broke. But I was eating with some friends, and one of them brought some redneck dude who you would think would be my natural predator in the wild. I was making him laugh his ass off because I'm me. And he threatened to throw the guy through a window, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. But anyway, continuing.
Amari Allen, the allegation was a female student. Amari Allen was pinned to the playground slide by 3 white boys. Oh, my God. And they cut off her dreadlocks and verbally abused her. And again, now I want you to watch this through the lens of evil person with no conscience.
Like, all 3 were around me. And then one of them put my hands behind my back. One of them covered my mouth. Like, took, like, big chunks of my hair and just cut. Ugly. I shouldn't have been born.
Cut.
Yeah. By the way, where's Blade when you need him?
He went out for a pack of cigs.
Blade Jr.
Sad that the Gerald joke was funnier than
Think about that. Just
the primary joke, but it happens.
Those are kids who had to go through hell. The truth is, this person made the whole thing up.
Yeah.
It's completely made up. So people often say, remember back then, why would a child lie? Have you been around children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night, my son was he was out his room. He was playing in a little playroom next to his room. And I said, Isaac, are you playing in the playroom? And he goes, no.
Yeah. They test it just to see.
Last night, I'm like, I can see you.
Poor judgment. By the way, you know, my son the other day said, hey, I have a new magic trick. I go to the bathroom, and he starts peeing, and then he stopped.
Whoa.
See, I can stop. That'll serve you well in your later years. Strengthen the floor muscles. Now.
Jesus. But no, it's absolutely true. Kids will definitely see what they can get away with. Always. It's just part of growing up. However, if it's not checked, then you have instances like this little shit creating a race hoax on the playground. Never happened. How do I know? There's all kinds of evidence if you go look into these.
And Bubba Wallace, that was really on the heels of Jussie Smollett. I know this is remedial, then I'll get to some that you may not know about. And some of you may not know about this. That's why we want to be very thorough. Allegation was that he was attacked by by men who shouted that this is MAGA country and poured bleach on him at 2 a.m. in Chicago. This is what was initially reported. It's now a punchline, but
and by the way, it was also during, you remember that nuclear winter that we not really a nuclear winter, but it was practically a nuclear winter. It was obscenely cold all over the country, and in Chicago, where this took place, at the time this took place, not only was it the middle of the night, but it was like negative 20 degrees in Chicago. It was freakishly cold. And Juicy Smouye goes for a stroll to Subway. Sandwiches?
But initially, this whole nation had a dialogue about racial healing that needed to take place.
Smollett says he was approached by two men yelling out racial and homophobic slurs. Investigators say he was attacked.
Nobody would know who this dude is, because they actually yelled at him, "Are you that F-N-word from Empire?" According to everything that was out there at the time. No one would know who this dude is. He's not the main star. Okay, Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson, something like that. Hanson, huh? They're the stars of it. They're the only ones you really saw in the previews, commercials and such for this show. Unless you watch the show, you don't know who Juicy Smouye is until this happened. And that's what that was all about. He wanted more money, even though he was making more money for one show than most people I know make in a year.
Unknown chemical substance was poured on him. Police adding, at some point, one of them wrapped a rope around the victim's neck.
It's an odd
Smollett
weapon
told
to
police
carry around.
the men yelled,
It was a
"This
shoestring."
is MAGA, Make America Great Again country." The actor took...
Again, this is Chicago. MAGA country. In Chicago. Two big old white dudes in the middle of downtown, I'm assuming. Saying this MAGA country. Holding rope. And it wasn't even rope. It was like a string. It was barely thicker than a shoestring.
Took himself to a hospital.
Right
It's
there in
MAGA
his living
country.
room,
Look at- this is the
captured
funniest
on
video
body
ever.
camera footage.
Look at that.
Smollett is standing there with a rope he claims is a noose, loosely
And he
coiled
kept it on.
several times around his neck. Police
It's like, no, people
blurred
need to see
Smollett's
this.
face in
People
the
need to
video they
understand.
released.
Why?
I just kept it on just to make sure that you guys really believe this bull.
Yeah, you can take it
Dude,
off now.
first of all, a real racist person looking to hang a black person in Chicago, that's insane to say. But a real one would use real rope.
Yeah.
Second of all, who was it? Colonel Mustard? Like, who was carrying a noose around?
Well, it was two African trainers.
And people believed it?
Yeah. Yeah, people did. And then even when it was found out to be false, people go, well, what kind of a climate, though, are we living in that people believe this? Because
People called him low-key noble for bringing attention to this. Look, I know these people live in a world where no publicity is bad publicity. That's not true when it comes to race relations. You can't fake things, because then, I mean, it's the boy who cried wolf syndrome. If you do all these things, and enough of these happen, and they have happened, enough of these, to where people start looking at everything with speculation. And these are from the people who want to be taken seriously when bad things actually do happen. And they do happen. People are horrible. Generally horrible. I take the house stance where we're inherently evil creatures, and just because we have a functioning human brain, we're capable of a few feats that are anything but pure evil. I still believe that, and yet at the same time, I take Anne Frank's stance. I have to believe that people are really good at heart, even though I know better. But it's one of those things I have to believe it, or else, what are we doing?
it may not have happened to Jussie Smollett, but it happens all the time. It happens 0 times. Do you guys know that? It happens 0 times. You know what happens far more often? Fake hate crimes. That's the real worry. Rape culture in the United States, of course, rape bad, got it, okay, you understand Hitler bad, rape bad, murder bad, all that stuff. Rape.
And like that poor kid who hung himself in, what was it, Mississippi? It was Mississippi or Alabama. these states have histories. I understand that. But you also have to understand that this is the first world. And we have our own issues here. And people get upset. And people sometimes hang themselves. And you see all these people online, oh, black people don't hang themselves. Okay. Sure. Of course not. No, they don't. Yeah, they do, because they're people. Okay? It's a lot less common for that to happen. But it does happen. And, what was it? Colin Kaepernick did a second autopsy on the one boy, and haven't heard anything since. So I've heard grumblings that it was also showed that he hung himself, but it wasn't as loud as the people saying, oh, he didn't hang himself, black people don't hang themselves. So I'm assuming, just from the fact that I hadn't heard anything following, that it definitely came back negative.
Culture is not something to fear in the United States. Fake rape culture. Me Too. No accountability is a culture that we need to fear. That's what we need to fear in the United States, whether it's voting, whether it's our behavior in the workplace, schools, teachers, our institutions, the media. We need to fear a culture that has no respect for or healthy fear of accountability, because that is what results in this. Of course, you know that was fake, completely fake. 6 years later, he was ordered to pay damages to the city of Chicago. You still have people who believe that there was something to that story. There was nothing to that story. Here's another one in 2019. Lives would have been destroyed forevermore if the media had their way. The allegation, Covington School, right? The Catholic school board.
Oh,
White,
yes.
of course, noticing a pattern. They threatened a Native American man named Nathan Phillips and harassed him.
A video showing a confrontation between the high school students, including junior.
All right. So knowing what actually happened, and he didn't even get into everything that happened. So at first I was like, okay, a bunch of high school boys, obnoxious assholes. A bunch of high school boys wearing MAGA hats, obnoxious assholes. Sure. And then I heard that the Black Hebrew Israelites were actually involved in this, and they were harassing these boys. There's video evidence. There's news reports. They were harassing this group of high school boys. The high school boys were being high school boys and not backing down because, oh, there's a bunch of us. We could do this. And then this meth-addled asshole walks up to the boy, chanting and banging this drum in his face. And this kid, for smirking and not freaking out at this old man for banging this drum in his face, was targeted, harassed, doxxed, all kinds of shit online. And it's absolutely disgusting. People were calling that they wanted this boy killed. All over the place. Like mainstream figures were saying all kinds of horrible stuff about this. That he was a horrible human being, that he deserved all the bad things in life, that he deserved to die.
Nick Sandman and an Omaha elder, Nathan Phillips, went viral.
I mean, he made bank on this. I will say that.
Told the Post his version of the incident on the afternoon of January 20th.
And like I said, this kid was just standing there, and all these people walked up to him and started banging this drum in his face. What would you do if someone started banging a drum in your face? Would you sit there and smile at him? Probably not. All the people saying that this boy should die for sitting there smiling in his face, would they have stood there smiling and not punched this dude in the face for coming up and banging the drum that close to his face, chanting and screaming? Probably not.
Later that evening, Sandman released a public statement giving his account.
Here's the thing, too. They'll say, well, you know, people online, they're not real journalists. What I just heard you say was, we heard an account from a toothless meth head who claims to be Native American, spoke to us through his cricket phone, and good enough for us. The other boy claims that, well, hold on a second. Is there video? There always was.
Yeah.
There always was. How do I know? I was alive during that period in time. And I remember immediately the full context video being released going, oh my gosh, they're railroading this kid. And the media still ran with it. Do you think that's by accident? And of course, the truth is that the students did not instigate anything at all. 1 year later, Very quietly, the media settled a lawsuit with students, which, by the way, I've heard numbers as low as the tens of millions to well over 100 million. We don't know.
Yeah, I hope it's the biggest number that we've heard.
But you have people still walking these streets who are voting, who believe that actually happened. Islam is not a threat. 198 million people globally who support death of all non-Muslims to some capacity or another. But the white Catholic school kids, white supremacy.
Smiling.
Their vote counts just as much as yours, and the media wants more of them than there are of you. Here's the other one, or the next one, I should say, the St. Olaf. Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember this, the racist note? This was a black student at a college in Minnesota found a racist note on her car. And again, now when you look at it through the lens, you go, oh, the purveyors of these lies, obviously evil demons. And then the media, who didn't fact check it at all, they're complicit in this act of evil.
On Saturday, a student found a frightening note on her car calling her the N-word and telling her to shut up or I will shut you up. Bill Hudson's live on the St. Olaf campus with the demands the students are making. How sad, Bill?
Hey, he didn't even say allegedly.
Yeah, how sad, Bill?
He didn't even say allegedly.
No, it's a matter of fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of how careful we have to be sometimes. And
I mean, people get letters left on their cars at school all the time. I've gotten some pretty horrible notes left on my car. I've got some pretty awesome ones left on it, too. But these things happen. Why is it newsworthy? And then another instance, some asshole was being a jerk to some people. So I started making fun of him, and he got upset. So he tried to run me over with his car, and I jumped on his hood, grabbed onto his windshield wipers, and kind of had a little car rodeo in the middle of the poor kids' parking lot at my high school. That wasn't newsworthy. All kinds of people saw that shit. Why? Because I didn't cry about it. I got off the car, I told him to suck it up, and we were pretty cool after that. I still don't like him, but, you know, we were like, wow, that escalated quickly.
Of course, I'm very often not.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Lawyers are like, yeah, so, you know, make sure you say allegedly or make sure you cover both sides because we will be sued. We are very often sued.
I made a joke earlier. It was just a joke.
Yeah. What was it about?
The Chief Masterson thing.
Yeah?
Allegedly.
Yeah, it was a different guy, though. It's chief. He's a chief of a tribe.
Yeah. And this relates perfectly to voting. It's a lie. No one posted a racist note, I will shut you up. And that lie is used as the springboard for the demands, right, which they made of the administration. They want to determine policy based on a lie. Kind of like Islam is no threat. You should vote. Kind of like it wasn't Allahu Akbar and a bomb. It was a white supremacist, right? Make sure you keep that in mind when you vote. And the truth, of course, the student fabricated the entire incident. Not some of. I know you're thinking there's some truth. Zero truth. None whatsoever.
It was in her own handwriting.
Here's another one. 2016. We're going in reverse order here. This was Yasmin Saweed. The allegation was 3 white men assaulted this Muslim college student on the subway, yelling anti-Muslim slurs and, of course, screaming something about Donald Trump. Now, instead of sympathy, now that you know it's a lie, think evil demon baby.
18-year-old Yasmin Saweed still shaken by
look how happy she is. She's
Thursday
smiling.
night around 10 when she got on the 6 train at East 23rd Street and Park Avenue after leaving a school event at Baruch College.
They came closer and
This is
I
in New York
heard
City.
distinctly them saying Donald Trump.
The young woman says she was
remember this when you vote.
attacked by 3 drunk
The
white
climate of
men
Trump,
on the
guys.
train.
They were surrounding me from behind and they were like, oh look, it's an effing terrorist.
How do you
Turned around
surround
and
from
I
behind?
was really polite and I was like, can you please leave me alone?
Yes, you were very polite.
Everyone was looking.
I mean, she's being
no
really
one said
polite
anything,
now.
everyone
She's
just looked
smiling.
away.
She's laughing about
Saweed
this.
says no one stopped them.
Does she look
They tried
traumatized?
to pull off her hijab.
The president-elect like just promotes this stuff and just very anti-Muslim, very Islamophobic, and it's just
He
condoning
doesn't.
this.
He's
CBS
not.
New York, wouldn't you cut? Look. You're laying it on a little thick, sweetheart, okay? With the whole, I was super polite and nobody did anything and the president-elect and it's his fault. Tone it down a little bit. This has to be actually, believable.
Me, super
Like
innocent.
millions of
Everyone
people.
else, super awful.
Believe that. By the way, she was charged with filing a false police report. She made it all up
Oops.
and said it was because of trouble at home. Don't care. Don't care.
Nope.
No trouble at home. Who could have guessed?
Yeah. Yeah, trouble at home. Hey, I bet you that the people
Honor
falsely
killing.
accused would have trouble at home too if anyone
Yeah.
actually believed the stuff that you said. It's another one, 2016 at U of M. Remember there was the Muslim student, the allegation, forced to remove their hijab after a white man threatened to light her on fire.
More hate crimes against Muslims now than the days following the 9/11 attacks in New York City. The latest
That's very untrue.
happening right here. Again, only steps from campus here at U of M on East William and State Street. That's where police say a suspect
What?
threatened a Muslim
Privileged
student
college
to
kids are the
remove her
worst.
headscarf or else he would set her on fire. Female Muslim student complied. The suspect got away.
Guarantee you the police didn't say that. The police said, well, the report that she filed claimed that.
Right.
Because the truth is she admitted it was a hoax, that she made it all up. That's it. Just admitted it. Here's my favorite one, 2015. This was everywhere. And I remember while it was happening, saying there's no way this is true. People saying,
that's not possible.
People saying, why are you defending poop swastika? I'm not. Believe me, as much as I would love to be a defender of an actual poop swastika just for comedic value, it doesn't exist.
I'm anti-swastika in general.
Anti-swastika,
Any form.
which is why I'm pro-poop swastika.
Right, exactly.
It's effectively putting poop on the swastika.
Yes.
So the allegation with that was that there was a poop swastika. And I know you're wondering, it's exactly what it sounds like. A swastika drawn in poop at the communal bathroom at Mizzou.
A swastika crap.
Yeah.
Late last month, a swastika found in the bathroom of a dormitory. Frustrated demonstrators said President Wolf wasn't quick enough to condemn the incidents.
Our faculty are working on ways to effect change in the curriculum so that all our students, those who think that it's a good idea to draw a swastika in feces on a dorm wall, that student or that group of students needs training. That student needs to understand
training?
Needs
what
re-education.
that
Yeah.
really means.
Also, poop swastika was just lazy. Swastika, swastika crap. The Gestapo poop.
Yes.
That's shit.
SS.
Yes, perfect. There's so much that you could do. And then, really, the only question, because now we
Swastika caca?
There you go.
That's different.
Sorry, they're going to keep coming to me.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't stop.
Adolf
We can't
Hitler.
help ourselves. Just like these people can't help themselves from lying. The only question that remains is, who involved with this was lying versus who knew that it was a lie but decided to carry the water anyway. Check all the references. We always provide them. For those of you who are new, if you're watching a clip, hey, we live stream 11 a.m. weekdays, and you can send in your chat. If we get something wrong, we'll admonish Gerald over it.
Why? But if
It was completely made up.
Drop a deuce.
Here's
Lynn.
another one. Now we're going to get into some of the rapey ones.
Sorry, the Third Reich.
There,
you knew it was there.
Sorry, I had to
It's
interrupt.
funny. I thought it was like, nah, the moment's passed, and then you pulled me back in.
No, it's not fast. Oh, it is now.
Schindler's List.
Just when I think it's out of my bowels, he pulls it back. You know what? And
You
we're
say
going.
Schindler's List.
There's so many that we're going to continue this. If you are not yet a member on Rumble Premium, Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. We're able to do this every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. Here's another one. This was everywhere. You probably know that this was fake, but I know that those watching, you could be anywhere from 15 years old to 50, and sometimes you're new to this. So we wanted to make sure that we were
Yeah,
thorough.
it's been crazy for like the
big
last 12 years.
Rolling Stone article, the UVA.
Yeah.
Remember this, the gang rape, and there are quite a few of these. That was the
Yeah, there are.
allegation. Rolling Stone.
There's Mattress
ran
Girl.
a piece
There's this
about
one.
a student
There's
named Jackie. This is Rolling
Duke
Stone.
Lacrosse
This is
was
a
the big one.
magazine. Remember those? This is a magazine, meaning it had to go through an editorial process, go onto glossy paper, and be distributed.
Speaking of magazine, if magazines were still a thing, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a MAGA zine somewhere.
Nationwide, something that so clearly, with a basic, just rudimentary search, would have revealed or been revealed that it was fake. She was gang raped and pressured not to report it. So multiple layers of hoax.
On the grounds of the University of Virginia, anger.
And I'm really, really, really furious at the culture of rape and the complete inaction of the administration.
See what happens? The
and
lie
complete
gins up
complacency of the
people,
student
and then they
body.
vote. Oh, you're still here, and you're still watching?
It's not a culture. Does it happen? Yes, of course it does. But it's not a culture. But look, we're out of time. Sorry about the interruption. Sorry about my being a little lethargic because of the headache. But this is why you have to pay attention. And before you get riled up, if you don't care, you don't care. That's fine. You're allowed to not care. But if you're going to get riled up about some of these news stories that you hear, make sure it actually happened. Make sure you get the facts before you go and just like start reposting shit, because you're retarded. Chances are the person who you know who posted this is also retarded, and the person who's going to repost this after you repost this is also retarded. It's like dominoes. Big, stupid dominoes. So just make sure that you stay informed if you care. If you don't care, it's perfectly fine. As long as you shut the fuck up. You can say that things are fucked up, but most of it's not real. It's like that old adage. Believe half of what you see and nothing that you hear. At least on its face. But that's it for me today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for another edition. But this has been Alfie Animus with the Associated Guests, signing out.